What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Unreal Engine Hype Chamber tutorial, and this tutorial is going to be going over how to change the Jager car to an Octane, because, you know, Octane's the most popular car in the game. You want to have an Octane in the Hype Chamber instead of a Jager. So yeah, last video we implemented the logo, as you can see here. Video before that we changed the colors, video before that we installed, so we're just kind of working through the list. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into the tutorial. Alright, so the first thing that you want to do, head to the link in the description. It will send you to a Mediafire website, and you'll download this Octane assets.zip file. This is going to be pretty much everything that you need for the tutorial. So I'm just going to drag and drop it in there, then I'm going to right click it, press extract all, press extract, and it will open up a folder. Inside this folder, you'll have a few different files. You have this folder called Cristianos, which has 3 different images for the Cristiano wheels. As well as the Cristianos, we have a few Octane textures and things like that. And then we also have the actual Octane model file. So now we need to import this folder into Unreal Engine. And the best file path that I found for this, just to make it easiest, is if you go to esports sample, then artist elements, then blueprints. And then if you just drag and drop it into this blueprints folder, this is like the folder that will be most convenient. You will see this screen pop up. The only thing that you need to change in this screen is the import uniform scale. You need to set it from 1 to 0.01. Hit enter. The reason that you're doing this is actually downsizing the Octane model, because in reality the Octane model is huge. So this is pretty much just making it so it will fit perfectly into the scene. Now just press import all. If any screens like this come up, just make sure to close them out. It'll take a second to compile some shaders. If anything comes up at the side, just press OK. In here you should be left with this Octane assets folder, which has everything. If you want to make sure that the import worked correctly, double click on the Octane model file and it should open up here, and you can use WASD to just fly around the Octane and check it out and make sure everything is working correctly. Now we can close out of that for now. And we need to actually move on to getting some already existing texture files, so then we can add our new textures on top of that. Head over to the second content browser. You should still have it open from the previous tutorials. Then head to esports sample, artist elements, materials, vehicle, and you should see all of these different materials here. There are 6 of them that you want to copy. If you hold down left control, you can select multiple at the same time, so make sure that you select these ones exactly. You've got the Jager tire, left click on that. You've got Jager rim color, click on that. You've got the Jager chassis, click on that. You've got the car paint URL A, click on that. You've got the car paint black, click on that. And then you have the car window, click on that. Now if you do Control C to copy, we can head back over to our content browser 1. You can make another folder in here just so it's easier. Just name this materials, enter the folder, hit paste, and you'll have the materials in here. You can also go through and rename these, because obviously we're not going to be using the Jager anymore, we're going to be using the Octane. So for things like where it says the Jager tire, we can just rename it to like Cristianos, because those are the wheels that we're going to be using. We can rename this to Octane rim color. We can change this to Octane chassis. We can just name this Decal, because that will be the decal that's on the car, and the other things you can just keep the same. So you should end up with something similar to this. Now we can move on to changing these materials to the Octane specific textures. So if you just double click on them individually just to open them all up, they will just show up as individual tabs in this window. So now we can kind of click between them and change them as we like. If we minimize that for a second, head back to the Octane assets folder. Head into the Cristianos folder, because that's what we're going to be working on first, and then opening back up this window. Where it says Diffuse, you want to drag where it says Cristianos Dark. You want to then scroll down. Where it says Normal Map, you want to drag where it says Cristianos Normal Map. And then when it says DT1 Roughness, you want to drag where it says Cristianos Light. And that will change this wheel's materials from the Jager wheels to the Cristianos. Now you will notice that it does look a bit pixely. As you can see, it looks a bit blocky. So you actually can fix that by going to where it says normal. Here it says normal intensity, and setting that to minus 0.25, hitting enter, and it should look a bit better. Now you can just press save, close out of it, and we're going to be moving on to the rim color. So now we're moving on to editing the rim color here. So the first thing we want to do is we want to change the roughness from 0.25 to 0.65. This will make it a bit more matte. Now you want to just open up the color wheel and set it to gray. Then I'll press OK. Hit save, and then I can close it, as that is all we have to do for the rim color. Next, we're going to be moving on to the Octane Chassis. In the content browser, we're going to return to the Octane Assets folder, where we can now see the Octane equivalents of these textures. So first of all, we're going to drag the Octane Chassis map to the top one, scroll down a bit. We want to do the Octane Chassis textures to the middle one, and then we want to do the Octane normal map to the normal map. The next thing we want to change here is where it says emissive intensity. Right now it's set to 10, which is why this is very bright. We want to set it down to 7.5, which will turn it down just a little bit, make it a little bit more realistic. Now we can press save and close out of it. Now we can move on to the decal section. And this is actually where you guys can use a custom decal. I do have a tutorial on how to make a custom decal. I'll go over the way that you can import your own decal first, and then I'll go over if you don't have a decal. If you literally just want a plain simple colored car, then I can also go over that. So right here I just have a decal. It's very simple. It's literally just green with the logo, and then it says tutorial team. All I'm going to do is just drag and drop it into Unreal Engine, and it will import it. As you can see, it's right here. And now all I need to do is drag and drop where it says decal here, and on top of where it says diffuse, and it will change. Then I can just press save, and my custom decal will be imported. Now, if you don't want to get a custom decal, you don't want to make one, there's actually quite a simple fix for that, and it does look pretty cool. So if we head back into the Epic Games launcher and click on Unreal Engine, then go over to Marketplace, click on search for products on the right side, just like we did in the first tutorial, and type in Automotive, hit enter, and you'll see here there is Automotive Materials. It is a free pack from Epic Games. Just press download or add to project, whatever it says for you guys. I already have it downloaded, so it will say something different. But this pretty much has, as you can see, a bunch of different materials that you can put on your Octane. And yeah, a lot of them look very realistic, so it's quite fun to mess about. So we have plastic, we've got some metal, we've got wood, rubber, we've even got some pearlescent stuff over here. So yeah, there is quite a lot to work with here. When it's downloaded, if we head back into Unreal Engine, you might need to reboot Unreal Engine if it's not showing up. But if we head to the content folder, you will see here where it says Automotive Materials. If you double click on that, then go to Materials, then to Exterior, you'll see all of the options here. The option that will probably help the most people is the car paint option, because obviously that is the car paint. And here you will have different paints for the car. So here you will have a bunch of different car paints. You can pretty much just pick whatever paint color you want. You're not just restricted to these colors. If you double click on where it says car paint white, you can then change where it says base color here. If you want, let's say, a light blue car, drag it over to light blue, and you can pretty much set your own color. You can even just copy paste text color codes there if you prefer to do that. If you want a car with a pearlescent paint finish, so a color that fades to another, if you see here where it has car paint mix 1, 2, and 3, if you click on any of those, I'm just going to click on the first one. Here you can see it says base color, and then it also says chameleon color. Make sure that use chameleon is checked. If it's unchecked, then it won't be pearlescent. And then we can pretty much make a pearlescent paint finish like you would normally in Rocket League. So if I want an orange that fades into a pink, I can get an orange here, and then change the chameleon color to a bit lighter. And here we have an orange that fades into a pink, which is actually quite a popular paint finish in Rocket League. When you're happy with that, just press save, close out of it. And then if you hit Ctrl+C to copy it, then go to Content, Esports Samples, Artist Elements, Blueprints, Octane Assets. And then if you just paste it in there, your car paint will be in here ready to use. We don't actually need to edit the car window or the car paint. So if we just close out of that. And now we are ready to edit the actual Octane model. So it's always good to keep a blank version of this. So if you just right click and duplicate, we'll have a duplicated version here. I'm just going to call it Octane Model 1. That's fine. Then double click to open up that, and we can start changing the materials here. In the content browser, if we head back to the materials folder, so for element 0, that's actually going to be the decal. So that is going to be either the pearlescent gradient or just a regular color, or the custom decal, which is what I'm going to be using. So just drag that onto element 0 and it will update here. The next one is going to be the Octane Chassis. So drag it into element 1. Element 2 is going to be the car paint. So drag it onto element 2. Element 3 will be the car window. So select it and drag it onto element 3. Element 4 will be the rim color, so drag it onto element 4. And then element 5 will be the Cristianos, so drag it onto element 5, which will put it all together by giving the wheels some texture. And as you can see, we have a fully textured Octane now. I do want to make that rim color just a little bit darker so it matches the tread. So I can just edit it here, drag it down a bit, press OK, save, and there we go. That matches a lot better. And there we have it. We have a fully textured Octane. Now we can just save the model, close out of it, and move on with replacing the Jager. Alright, so the first thing that we need to do is head back to our Octane Assets folder, which just as a reminder is in Content, then Esports Sample, Artist Elements, Blueprints, and then here we have Octane Assets. Then we need to copy our Octane model, so you can just do that with Ctrl-C. Then step back one to Blueprints, then click on Cars, and then use Ctrl-V to paste it in the Cars folder. Once the Octane is in this folder, we need to duplicate this Jager here, right click it, go to duplicate, we can change this from saying Jager 1 to Octane. Now if we double click it, go to Viewport, click on SM Car Inherited at the side, make sure if the simulation is playing, make sure to pause it, so you can then edit the options here. We can then drag this Octane model on top here, and it will change here. Now press save, close out of it, go to Blueprints, Data, DT Esport Themes, scroll down to where your team is, and then where it says Car Actor, you'll click it, and BP Car Octane will show up. If you scroll down now, where it says Car Skin Home and Car Skin Away, you want to set that to whatever decal you have. So we're going to head back to Blueprints, go into Octane Assets, go back to Materials, and here we have the decal. Open back up that window and just drag it on top twice. The reason that there's home and away is because on the matchup video, there is a car on the left side and a car on the right side, which pretty much represents the blue and orange teams in Rocket League. So if you have an away version of your decal, you could actually use two different versions of the decal. Now if we press save, I'm going to minimize this, press play, and as you can see, we have the Octane, but it is a bit low. An easy way to fix this is by going back to the Blueprints folder, then going to Cars, double clicking the BP Car Octane, going back to Viewport, and then SM Car Inherited to get all of the car options. Make sure that the simulation is stopped. So open this up, and then you can set the location, the Z-axis, type in 38, hit enter, and then you'll be good to go. Now you can press save, close out of this, close out of DT Esport Themes, make sure you save. And then if we go to play the graphic again, it will be the right size. So there we have it. We have successfully imported an Octane into the hype chamber. It is very laggy currently just because I'm recording. But yeah, you can see it has replaced the Jager. It is pretty much the same size as it would be in game. And yeah, I think it looks pretty good. It even works in other scenes like the hype chamber or just the team. So you can see the Octane is here. If we want to go to close-up, it also works in close-up. But yeah, that is it for this tutorial. We have now successfully imported an Octane and replaced the Jager in the hype chamber. I think it looks pretty good. We've managed to use a custom decal, and I've obviously shown you guys if you don't want to use a custom decal, you can also do that. In the next video, we're going to be going about changing the ticker, which is pretty much the text at the top of the screen where it says Championship Series. This is Unreal Racing League. We're going to be changing that so it can say whatever you want. So if you have like a custom tournament or something, you can have the tournament name at the top of the hype chamber. But yeah, that is it for this video. If it did help you, make sure to hit like and subscribe. Apologies that it is a bit of a longer video, but it is quite a complicated process. But hopefully I made it quite easy to understand. And yeah, that is about it. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.